It seems that the microtransaction monster will be rearing its ugly head in Devil May Cry 5, as websites are reporting that you can spend real money to acquire moves, skills, and upgrades for Dante, Nero, and a whole bunch of other characters in the game. Now, is this okay? Are people right to be upset with Capcom over this move? We're going to talk about all that and more right now. What is going on, guys? Randall Thor 19, the man with the million, back again with another video. Now, personally, I am really looking forward to Devil May Cry 5, but now I am cautiously optimistic about the title, as I don't particularly like the idea of microtransactions in a single-player experience, especially when it's dressed up as player choice. So there's a whole bunch of stuff here to get through. People, talking about it on the internet. You have one group of people saying that we need to denounce this from the rooftops, this is absolutely horrible, and the other group saying, stop complaining, stop overreacting, this is totally fine because it was in the last Devil May Cry game. So let's get into it, shall we? Now, this news comes to us from GameSpot, as they had an interview with Hideki Itsunu, the director of the game, and they asked him why they felt the system is necessary in a game like Devil May Cry 5. And, well, to no one's surprise, they said it's all about player choice, right? The quote goes, "With giving people the ability to purchase red orbs, it's something we want to give people as an option. If they want to save time and just want to get all the stuff at once, those people can do that. But on the other hand, I don't feel you have to get all the moves. You should be able to play it the way you want to play it." And when I initially read that quote, I did not like what he was saying, right? The idea that it's player choice, and if you want it, and hey, just slide me over a 20 to get it, has been used before in other games. Oh, you work a long demanding job, you don't have time, you can of course just pay us money. You're essentially paying for what I would call cheat codes. This is exactly what cheat codes used to do back in the game. You want to get all the skills, you want to max out your character, input this cheat code, and you can do so. This is exactly that same system, but now they want you to pay for it. The issue I have is, if it was truly about player choice, why not just let someone get all these skills, ability, and moves right away without having to buy them with the red orbs? Wouldn't that be the ultimate player choice? You could have your hardcore Devil May Cry fans play through the game, acquiring everything like normal, and then hey, if you truly don't have time, well, just pick the moves that you want. But of course, it's not really truly about player choice, because if it was, that would be how it is. They are running a business, so they're going to charge people that have more money than time. So that's my really big issue with that quote here. You can either give people the option to get all the orbs without spending any money if you truly want to be about player choice, or why not have a difficulty, like an easier difficulty mode, very easy or super easy, where just everything is unlocked for you and someone can just play on that mode if they want to experience the game with everything, if they want an easier experience, you know what I mean? Then it's truly about player choice. So I hate it's dressed up like this. Like, we're doing you a favor. You don't have time, so give us money. And of course, I kind of look at this with the slippery slope kind of thing in mind. I understand that microtransactions are part of the industry. They aren't inherently a good or bad thing. It's how they're implemented in games. Remember the outrage from last year with Shadow of War, where they're like, hey, it's a single-player game and you have microtransactions in it? That doesn't seem right. The same thing applies here. With Shadow of War, I thought, hey, they're selling you microtransactions. They're in the game for a reason. Is it possible they slowed down progression of the game and made it more grindy to kind of maybe let you think that, oh, maybe I'll just spend some money to get an upgrade or two? And thinking about Devil May Cry 5, I have that same thought. If microtransactions are in the game from the very beginning, is it in any way possible that this developer is going to slow progression to make it you know, you might want to buy an upgrade instead of just playing through normally. So that enters into my mind, and it makes me a little side-eyed looking at the devs saying, you know what? I'm on to you. You know, like, I'm going to watch this to make sure you didn't artificially bump up the grind to sell, you know, the orbs for real money. Of course, that doesn't necessarily mean they did, and some Devil May Cry fans are saying, listen, this isn't a big deal at all, basically because they introduced this during the Devil May Cry 5 Special Edition. Now, red orbs weren't in the original release of, or at least the ability to buy red orbs, I should say, wasn't in the release, the original release of Devil May Cry 4, but they re-released it for current gen, and they actually had the option to buy red orbs with real money in the Special Edition, but they changed the game's economy. It was so much easier to actually get red orbs in Devil May Cry 4 Special Edition than it was in the previous one, so the ability to buy orbs was actually not that big of a deal. And if that's something that happens with Devil May Cry 5, that would be great. If they just give you a whole bunch of stuff where you don't feel the need to want to buy anything, then that would be a good thing. But still, you know, I'm kind of looking at them like, okay, we'll see how you handle the progression stuff, right? And the whole slippery slope behind microtransactions in general, we've seen it in like the NBA 2K series, where like they slowly introduce this stuff, and then now look at the game. It's a microtransaction, pay to win, pay to even play kind of thing, where it's just horrible. You look at the early days of the, you know, FIFA Ultimate Team and Madden Ultimate Team and how it originally started out to what it is now. You know, people didn't really speak up or talk about it, and now those companies, it's like ruining some of those games. Of course, they still sell incredibly well because FIFA and NBA, you know, they have their fan bases, and now those microtransactions are a business upon themselves, like $500 million to $1 billion or whatever. But it's kind of a disgusting tactic, in my opinion, and I don't want to see microtransactions permeate through single-player experiences. So I'm kind of cautious of like, hey, you know, I don't want to see this start affecting the games that I like to play in a single-player way. So you know, like, if you start accepting of this stuff and nobody says anything, it becomes worse and worse. As in my opinion, these companies, you know, if you give them an inch, they'll take a mile. It's been proven over and over. And for those that say speaking up doesn't do anything, I just point you to Star Wars Battlefront 2 and loot boxes. You know, people raised their voices and said, hey, this isn't right, we don't like it. And what happened? They removed loot boxes. And the backlash was so strong. Have you seen a company announce loot boxes since then? No, you haven't, right? And I recall people saying that you can't change anything. Just speaking up about your displeasure about something, it's just a fart in the wind. You're not going to change anything. And then it got changed. They removed the loot boxes from Battlefront 2, and now you have Battlefield 5 and Anthem proudly say, we have no loot boxes. You have games like Onrush and other stuff come out in their marketing and say, no loot boxes here, or no real money loot boxes anyways. It's now become a marketing thing to say, loot boxes are bad and we don't have them, so check out our title. And the only reason that happened was because people raised their voices and were concerned about the direction that their favorite hobby was going in. You know, you don't see loot boxes in Forza Horizon 4, there was none in Sea of Thieves, there's none in Sony's games. It almost seems like the industry has now shunned it. Now, of course, they're still in the games that were previously out, like Overwatch, Rainbow Six Siege, and, you know, the Madden Ultimate Team stuff, but I have not seen a new game announced yet with them, and I think that is kind of going to go by the wayside, you know, especially with European countries like Belgium looking in to see if they're actually gambling. Nobody really wants to be on that side of gamer fury. So I am really interested in Devil May Cry 5. It looks amazing, but now I'm just going to be a little bit more cautious before I buy the game. I'm going to maybe potentially wait for reviews and say, hey, you know what, the microtransactions, it does affect the grind. they did make it a little bit harder to want to force you to buy these things. And then I won't purchase it, you know? Like, I don't want to see my favorite pastime just become a cash grab, especially when you use the excuse that it's all player choice. You know, hey, give us money. It's player choice. We're doing this for you. But then if it was truly about player choice, you could just get all the abilities and stuff you wanted without spending a dime. I hate that. I hate when I feel like we're being lied right to our faces. You know what I mean? It's not truly about player choice. It's about business at the end of the day. I know that. You know that. I know Capcom's got to run their business. But don't tell me, you know, don't tell me one thing when I know it's completely something else. So let me know what you guys think about all this in the comments below. Are you okay with the microtransaction, real life, real money thing in Devil May Cry 5? Aren't you that worried about it? In my opinion, it's not so much a pay-to-win thing, because Devil May Cry 5 is an action game. Yeah, you can buy all the moves and stuff that you want, but it's not going to make you any better at the game. You know, it's not like an RPG where your strength was level 5 and you bought some abilities and now it's level 30, so now you do more damage. This one, you know, if you buy all the moves and all the skills, that doesn't mean you're able to actually use them properly and beat it on the harder difficulties. So I wouldn't call it pay-to-win. It's more pay to unlock, I would guess. And I just wish they had a difficulty that lets you play it with all the skills unlocked. Then I would agree with the player choice mantra going on here. But anyways, let me know what you think about all this in the comments below. And as always, if you enjoyed the video, give it a thumbs up, share it out on Twitter, hit that subscription icon, hit the notification bell, all that good stuff. Thank you guys so much for watching. I greatly appreciate it. And I'll see everybody in the next video. Later, guys.